Okay, so 6:42. Oh God, my back is freaking killing me. 6:42 on the 28th, Wednesday, which 6:42, 246. So is it countdown or count whatever. Whenever I see these counting patterns, I always think it's something. Okay, so yesterday when I curled my hair, it was almost, well, I don't know if you could tell, but by the time I finished, it had fallen out so much. I can't believe it. So, like I said, I'm new to this whole curling iron situation. So, I did buy the little old-fashioned curlers. So I'm going to try it if I do it with my hair wet and see if it stays in longer. But I know there used to be like products you could put in your hair that was supposed to hold the curl more. And I had some stuff in it and it still wasn't holding. So I don't know. But if anybody has any ideas of something that works, because I do like it when it gets all curled. I do like it. I like this hair length because it's versatile. I swear, when my hair was long, I couldn't do that many different things with it. So, anyways, and you know what I was thinking about too? Is kind of like it becomes a persona. Like you kind of develop a persona around your hair or something. Like, everybody who just has long straight hair, people like look at him as like more natural and hippie-ish and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's weird. It's just like how we wear our hair really kind of is is it a part of our mask or is it part of who we become? But there's something to it. So no matter what, I mean, you got to wear your hair somewhere, somehow, some way. So it's not like, you need to change it or something. I just think it's something I just became aware of because my hair was like, I hadn't cut it in like 10 years. It was, had been long for a long time. Well, I mean, I trimmed it, but I hadn't done anything different in a long time. And it was long. It was like down to my butt. So it was, to my, down at my waist in the front. So anyways, it was long. I had been wearing it long for a long time. And, I don't know. It just, and then to change it, you do feel like, which made me also think about like, because your hair holds memories and stuff. And I was thinking, that's kind of wild because it was like I cut all those old memories away of what it was. Because my hair was long at the end of my dysfunction, let's say, before I started my healing. My hair was long throughout my healing, but it also carried the pain and suffering that led to my healing. So, anyways, but now I still I feel like I've got new hair growing in. I feel like my hair is it just feels thicker and stuff. So, anyways, I like it. So, okay, so okay, so I'm supposed to go live today. I'm gonna have to talk to Crystal and see if we can be flexible on the schedule or whatever. So I took Max. I called the vet yesterday when I finished, like I said, and I don't remember if I had already said what I had done about the food. So so I'll just say again. So before, when he was showing these issues with his chewing, so when it very first started, when he started being weird, because remember he used to vomit all the time, and he hasn't been vomiting, and I've been putting the DE. So if you don't know what that is, it's diatomaceous, and it has an earth at the end, and so it's good for animals. Like a lot of people do it, and so you put a little bit of that in their food every day, and it keeps stuff clear. And so I've been putting that in their stuff every day, and so he hasn't been vomiting. And so then what I had noticed was he just kept like slowing down. Like I said, it's like he's acting like he's like 90 or something. And then when we went to the dog park, he was having a hard time walking around and he kept drooling. And then he keeps doing this weird lip smacking, these weird lip things. And so which I don't remember noticing it before, but definitely all in this. But I don't know, because when I was in the tent, he slept outside the tent mostly. And so I maybe didn't notice. But anyways, so sleeping with him right next to me, he does this weird lip smacking. And he'll do it and do it and do it for so long. And you're trying to sleep, and it's like, dude, stop. So I still got the allergies. And it's snow, raining, sleet, or whatever this morning. It's supposed to be stopping now, but anyways, these weird, the weather is just like, why even bother? Why even bother? You're just going to do whatever each day. You know, you're going to say, this is what's ahead. And then it just switches all the time. So anyways, but oh boy, were they just going to town yesterday up in the sky right after I had said that. I didn't see that much here. Oh shit. There was so much going. So anyways, whatever. I have the allergies. And so, okay, so he had the lip smacking. Then we went to the dog park, and he was just like drooling and stuff. And then when he would start drinking water, he would drink and drink and drink and drink and drink. And then he would start like foaming at the mouth. And he made all this foam in the water. And I was just like, it was irritating the shit out of me, because it was getting the water so dirty. And I have to go buy the water. And so it was like, oh my God, this is so irritating. And because I'd have to keep dumping out the water, because he would turn it into like this, I don't know, when I would watch him, I would feel like I'm watching a fly eat up close. It was like, it was intense, man. So, so then he started with the food, and he started like seeming like he was having trouble chewing, and he would throw his head around and do these weird things. And then he throws his head around, all this food is going everywhere, because it is like, I don't know. That's what reminded me of a fly. It's like, is he vomiting on his food? Like, what is going on? Like, I gave him some sardines the other day. I just gave a couple of sardines in there. It turned into a goddamn ocean in that bowl. I was like, what in the world? How can you take, like, it's like mush anyways. And then it became just so full of saliva and bits and particles. I was crazy. And so I stopped giving him anything that was hard in his food. I started giving him all really soft, all soft food. All the food I made him, I wouldn't give him any kibble. And then he wanted some, so I would give him like 1 or 2 little kibbles on his thing. But I just kept giving him soft food, and he kept having such an issue. So then I decided, okay, well, let's see, because if it's a bad tooth, like I've got this thing going still. And it's like I don't know. It's like I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I'm not even going to guess anymore. Like, goddamn. Let's just see what happens. Like, this is what it's like now. So anyways, I've been dealing with my own tooth thing. And then in the process, all the different things I've learned about teeth and us going in and having them do this stuff to us and causing more issues with all the stuff they do and everything. So I was like, okay, well, his tooth will come out naturally, or whatever. Let's just see what happens. And then he was like, his problem kept getting worse and worse and worse. So then I'm like, okay, maybe he's got something. He wouldn't let me in. Even when I was giving him, I gave him a whole bunch of CBD, thinking it would conk him out. I could look in his mouth. No. And he'll just sit and stare at me. It's really wild. And so, so then I decided, okay, let's liquefy his food. And then it would be just like drinking it. And let's see if that, if he can swallow that. No, he was still having problems. So I'm thinking, okay, it could be something interfering with his swallowing, which I have no idea. I have no idea what it could be. And so, I mean, for all I know, he swallowed a stick and it's stuck in there, I have no idea. He doesn't seem to be as scroungy, like as freaking Ruthie. And even Archie's scroungy as can be. But, oh yeah, because remember when when I very first got him, and I took him to the dog park to run around and stuff. And then when we went home, he was falling down. He couldn't stand up. And at first he was running around really crazy, and then he was like falling all over the place. And I was like, oh my God, maybe he ate something at the park. Maybe he ate something toxic. Like, what the hell is going on? So I called the place, of course, with Archie. They're like, get him to the vet right now. With Morty, they were just like, well, let's just see. Try and get him an appointment. Like it. And then poor Morty died. Just seems like he could have been saved. But I don't know. I mean, he was old and he was in untreated diabetes his whole life or whatever it was. So anyways, that whole situation just really irritated me with the rescue thing. But anyways, they wanted me to hurry and get Archie down there. So I got Archie down there. And then the vet was watching him and stuff. And they're like, I think he got into some weed. And then they asked, you know, do you... And I said, yeah, but I don't keep it down anywhere. And, you know, if he went and got a butt out of the ashtray, you would notice because there would be a mess. I was like, there was no evidence of anything at my house. But we were at this park, and he was digging around in the woods. I mean, in the bushes. And so they said, you know, well, there can be, like, there's dogs that have been coming in to the vets and stuff that have been at the park and got METH, all sorts of stuff. So I was thinking, you know, probably some people out there partying, and then he got into their stuff and ate something. So he was just all doped up. But anyways, I don't remember how I got off on that whole thing. But so Archie, oh, because he does scrounge around. And then they told me when I was talking to the rescue, because I didn't think they were going to let me have him after that. They made a big thing. And so they said, you have to really watch pugs. They're very scroungy. They're just root around all day long looking for little garbage to eat. And he does do that some, but he doesn't eat very big things. Freaking Ruthie. She's like, she'll go look in the trash. She'll go look at the she'll go anywhere. And she'll eat anything. It's like, girl. And it's like, God dang, you eat like 3 or 4 times a day. She just has this impulse to eat or something. So anyway, she's really scroungy. And I keep thinking, man, I hope she can pass all this stuff. Like, there was somebody's poop yesterday that seemed kind of like diarrhea. But everybody else's poop just looked normal. And so I don't know if it was his or if it was hers, because she's always eating garbage. And constantly having to dump garbage, the little garbage cans and stuff, because she just thinks they're like treat palace or something. Like a tissue, maybe blow your nose in. Well, that sounds good. It's like, girl, God dang. So I have to pick up the trash cans, put them up. And then, like, wiping the mouth of the dogs. I have to wipe their mouths a lot, of Stella's and now Max's. And so anyways, and he gets such a mess, and he'll keep flinging his head, and it's just flying everywhere. Oh my God. So anyways, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be as much scroungy. So I haven't like seen him eating sticks and rock. Like the other day, she came in eating a rock. She's just going to town on this rock, and I get it out of her mouth. And it's like, girl, you don't eat rocks. But Winston, he was a golden retriever. He used to do the same shit. He was the same. And so, so anyways, I don't know what's going to come back about. So when I called the vet yesterday morning and they had a cancellation, so they told me to bring him at 2. And so I took him down there, and the vet came in and was talking to me. And his assistant, I guess, could have been his wife, I'm not sure. And so he was talking to me about, well, what we need to do is do an x-ray, and we need to knock him out in order to do that. And I don't want to do that right now because it's like late, and I don't want to, you know, do that right now. And so I said, you know, okay. And he said, you know, the bad thing is about anytime we put them to sleep for anything, you are at risk that they may not wake up. And I'm like, yeah, I know about that situation. I already had that happen to my other Mastiff. And when she woke up, as she died later on in the evening. So she never like fully woke up. She just kept laying there and laying there. And I didn't know. It just makes me sick. So that's my whole thing too about like, oh, like I'm dreading already Ruthie getting fixed. But there's no way I'm going to go take her to get spayed before she's finished growing. Like, I know that is something they misled people on now. It messes with their growth hormone. It messes with their joints. It messes with a whole lot of stuff. So, yeah, I got to wait till she's fully grown. And they used to always market it to us, oh, do it while they're little. It's so much easier. Yeah, well, then they have issues. And so anyways, and Lucy was 13 months. She wasn't a little tiny baby. And then Stella, I think she was, because I was way more scared about Stella. I think she was 16 or 18 months when I did hers. So anyways, it probably won't do Ruthie's for like another year. And I ordered those period panties. And God, everything you do to her. I got her a life jacket. Trying to get that on is an ordeal. Trying to put the period panties on, she goes insane. Everything. She just wants to, she's like so curious. She I swear to God, she can sit and sniff my leg for, it's like, what are you sniffing? You're driving me insane, tapping on my leg like this. And so anyways, but those period panties were way too big. So I have to get some other ones. In her first life jacket, I got her, well, I had gotten her 2 different ones. They were way too small. So now I got one that's like, just fits. The next size up would be Stella's size. And I was like, surely she's not going to get that big. But anyways, so, who knows how big she's going to get. She's an oxen, I swear. So, anyways, so, I take him, and then they say, so I'm supposed to bring him back in the morning, early in the morning, and they're going to put him to sleep and do an x-ray, and then when he's asleep, he's going to look down inside his throat, check his teeth and all that stuff, and see if he can find what it is the problem. And so and so then they said, you got to make sure he doesn't eat or drink anything after midnight, because he can aspirate, especially when he's got these issues. And so I was like, I took him out to the car, and I was like, oh man, there's no way. I'm sitting here going through my head, how would I keep the water up all night? Like, these dogs get up and drink. Stella gets up and drinks in the middle of the night. She gets up and goes pee and drinks. Ruthie will. Max will, for sure. And so I was like, God dang, how do I do this? And so then I was like, man. And I'm like, whole morning's going through my mind, because 4 o'clock in the morning, here we are up. And Stella's ready to eat. I pushed this morning for 4:44 or something like that. And I did not want to get up. I still feel like, God, I just want to sleep. But and I was having the craziest dreams, which I saw somebody said put salt next to your bed, and it's like a whole thing too. It's like it was like whatever container you're supposed to you're supposed to throw it away. It pulls all the energy out of your auric field or something. At first I thought, oh, because I'm always thinking while I'm asleep. And I was like, oh, maybe this is helping. Maybe my dreams aren't as weird. But then I started having some weird dreams. And I don't remember, but I was definitely realizing something. But then I come out of it, and it's like, what was I realizing again? What was I being shown again? So I can't remember what it was now. But there was things in it. So I feel like it's definitely learning something or being taught something, but it's playing it out and seeing it from a different way. For me, that's what it seems like. So anyways, I get out to the car, and I have him in the car, and then I'm like, I'm just going to go in and see if he can just stay. How much is it to just spend the night? Because that's the safest way, to have him be like no food or drinking after midnight. And so they said, oh, no charge, or if there's a charge, it's only like $17. So yeah, that's fine. So he stayed up there, which I feel really bad, because I feel like he's probably so confused, especially because he came from a shelter. So he's probably really confused. And then when they put him to sleep, then I'm like, oh my God, what if he doesn't wake up? He's going to think he was abandoned when it just makes me feel like it's been on my mind all night. And so anyways, I don't know what the deal is going to be. I don't know what time they're going to call me to come up there. They have to wait for him to come out of the anesthesia before I can come pick him up. And then I think they're going to call and tell me whatever they find. And who knows, if they find a growth, I'm going to say I don't want them to remove it, because the things I've seen is when you remove those things, whatever's living in there sets it free. And it goes about its business, moving all over the place. And then it's grown a little colony. And so the colony spreads everywhere. So I was like, no, if they say that, I don't want to do that. So I don't know, if they would say like he has an infection. I have no idea what they're going to come back and say. Even the dentist seemed kind of, or the vet seemed kind of like, man, I don't know what it could be. So, and with Stella, I talked to him again about her, and he said, he's sure it's like something with the vaginitis, because she already completed the thing. She still got the thing, but the other things it can be is that, pyrometra or something. Usually the dog is not fixed. And usually it's had a heat, and then it has that, and then it's infection, and they leak out green and yellow discharge. She doesn't have that. The only thing that seems like if she has any kind of discharge, I kept thinking, well, maybe she's got like little tinkles of pee or something. It was like and then it's kind of sitting in there and irritating it. And so I showed him those wipes, and he said, oh yeah, those wipes are great. Do those wipes. So I'm just going to keep doing the wipes and see how that works. But he said he feels pretty sure that's all that's going on with her. Especially because she's still eating, still happy, she still, does things. The only thing that she bitches and moans about is her aches from her, because she'll moan and whine, and then she'll start licking her leg like, it hurts, it really hurts. I was like, girl, I know, that's why I give you all these fucking drugs. So, anyways, so I think that's what's going on with her. He had no idea what's going on with Max. So, I got to see when they call or whatever. So, and today I was supposed to be going live, so they may interfere, but I'll talk to Crystal. But the thing is I may not know, because she sleeps, her schedule is different. She sleeps later. And so I may not know until later. So you may just have to see, you just may have to check and see if I'm live or not. Because maybe we'll do it later this afternoon. She is also a moderator on a crime podcast. So she has to be, she has to be able to do that. And she probably has things to do in between. So anyways, we'll see how it goes for today. And then tomorrow I can't, because tomorrow is supposed to be the first day of training for her. And it's so crazy. Is any of this stuff, it's like my day is like it's on hyper speed or something. It's like everything is going so fast. And so it's like, by the time I get done with the training, then I go in and feed him, and then I clean it up, and then it's just like, it's already later. So there's not really time. So anyways, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's the thing, is I gotta kind of roll with punches, go with the flow today, and see what happens. And just having the three of them is, it does feel like, yeah, there's less to do and stuff. But I feel like, I feel bad though. I feel like he's missed, It's like, so I don't know. But I was thinking, if they do come back and say he's got some kind of seed growing in there in his throat or something, then I guess it depends on like how much is, like, is it, clogging his throat? He can't swallow? I don't know. But I was thinking, well, what I would want to do is probably try the turkey tail and see if that, and then I just got that big order of the horse paste. So I was thinking, well, I'll try those two things and see if there's any improvement. Because I don't want to just be like, oh, well, just put him out of his misery. Or, and then I also don't want to do invasive treatments like what they often subscribe to wanting us to do. Which on that one show I was talking about, The Pit, the medical ER show. And one of the people who came in, I don't remember what his symptoms were. I don't even remember if they showed what his symptoms were. Um, but he had to get imaging, and it came back, and he had all these things all over in his brain. And they said that it is PARASIT, and that it is larva, and that it is from, little pigs, eating pigs, and then that it goes in and it goes to town, laying eggs all over the place in your brain, and then it dies or something. And so then you have all of this. They kept saying it's like scarring. But they were saying that this is a really tough diagnosis for most people to be able to deal with. And the guy kept going, so there's a worm in me? There's a worm. Like, he was freaking out. It's like, dude, there's a worm in all. Yeah, it's bad news. They're in everybody. And people have no clue. It was kind of weird how they're putting this on here. But it's kind of like, oh, well, let's just put it out there a little bit, but let's put it way out here in left field. So not everybody gets paranoid about it. Everybody thinks like, oh, this is a one-off. No, it's not. So if it was a one-off, then everybody wouldn't have him, growing all over their place. It's, the big C. So anyways, so they were saying something about whatever's treatment or something, I don't remember. But what I was thinking about is because they said these little protein scar things on his brain. And I was thinking, that is weird, because remember when I said that it was back when I was sick. I would say I was sick a lot from over time, but now I understand more about sickness, and that it was my body telling me, this isn't good for you. This isn't good. There's nothing good going on for you. You gotta take better care of yourself. Don't go to them for their help. Have better relationships and stuff like that. But you learn as you go. So I had, that's back like when they said I had pre-cancer in my throat. And I had, I just had freaking thing after thing, man. And so but that was, I was having tons of stomach issues, which probably was the energy of all of my pain and suffering that was just down in my lower chakra. That was just it was too much. Like it needed to go. It needed to be released. I was just holding it down there, and it was making my body sick. And so I was having lots of stomach issues and reproductive issues, everything that goes on down there. And so they were doing a CT scan, and when they did, then they called me and they said, oh, we need to do one of your chest because we see growths in your lungs. And I was like that night, why I've said before, I was like crying. I was like, there's nothing that is in there except for the big C. And how would I even have got it? I don't even smoke. And that was way before I was smoking weed. Like, this is when I was like, I drank a glass of wine with my friends. And except for certain points, and I would do something stupid like go with my friends and do shots and end up puking all night. But but I was on all those pharmaceuticals. I was on a lot of that stuff. So once they had me on the migraines, that's when they just started adding on more and more and more and more. Now I just look at it like the migraine, everything in my body was telling me that I was going in a bad direction. And so when they called me in to do the test, I did the test, and they called me, and they said, oh, okay, it's fine. It's just these little proteins. You got all these little proteins that are just in there. And I was like, proteins? Like, why? How would they be able to? protein scarring or something. Like the same thing was like they were telling him, and they were telling that to me about my lungs. And you know, just since all of my gaining knowledge through all of the things is I don't know, my focus has been through all of this is realizing how much, you know, these larvae are a problem. And so and for it to be in the lung, then it makes it be like, okay, so is this something I breathed in out there? Because I wasn't eating beef or cow. I mean, I wasn't eating cows or pigs. I hadn't eaten any of that since I was a little kid. And so, but I had a lot of ground turkey, which could be any kind of person or anything. I was gonna fucking tell them what the fuck it was. And then I ate fish sometimes, but I ate ground turkey mostly. I make everything with ground turkey. I'd make lasagna, tacos, hamburgers, so all the things like I liked. But then I stopped eating all of that stuff. And I think it was more like around the end of 2020 or 2021 is when I really put a halt on a lot of the stuff I was eating before. And even though I didn't eat it constantly, but like I liked chicken tacos. There was things I liked. And so, but I don't eat any of that stuff anymore. And but back then I wasn't eating, I mean, I ate ground turkey a lot. But and I don't know what was in it, but I would think it would have been something I was breathing. But I definitely think now when they're sitting there saying these proteins in your lungs, and it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure, especially after I just saw that in that show, because before I thought that, not back at the time, I had no idea, you know, proteins, what the hell is in my fucking lungs? But they said, don't worry about it, it's fine. And then as, you know, I started hearing more about you know, the larvae that they put into everything for us, then I started thinking, oh, I bet you that's what those were. But that was some kind of thing, some kind of bug. And then when I saw that show, I was like, that just felt like confirmation to me. Like, oh, fuck, I'm sure. So I don't know. Now I take so many things that like clean my body out. So I feel like there's like, it'd be a harder time for something to live inside of me, like, because I'm always just like cloves, like having cloves, cinnamon, but you gotta have the Ceylon, and those two, the black seed oil, the burdock root. Like there's a whole bunch of things that I every day, and then I take mullein tea every day. So there's a lot of stuff that I do that clears everything out. So I don't know. But there was something else I was just thinking about, and it seemed like it was something from my dream too. So it was something with sickness, something with oh it was something about aging. Yeah, it was something about aging. I was seeing it in my dream, and I was like, it's not real. Aging isn't real, and people don't know. Like, it's just not real. I've talked about this so many times, but it's yeah, it's not real. It all has to do with your perception and then your creation from your perception. Allergies. So you know, to me, it is set through like propaganda and stuff. So they show us in movies like somebody who is, what's really weird about it is they'll have somebody who is like 80 playing somebody who's like 60. And just like in the younger ones, all of a sudden he's like 26 playing somebody who's like 15. But in older ones, all of a sudden he's playing like 80. Or somebody who's playing somebody who's 65 and they'll be like 80 years old. It's all of it fucking manipulation of our minds. Hold on. So the So they'll put that into your mind. Well, that's what it is to be this age. That's, and it's seeping through the doors. Gas. So it's like we're in a giant gas stream or something. So, so they'll put it into your mind. It started at a young age. They'll have people in shows, probably shows like family shows that people all watch. And then they'll start thinking, well, that's what it is. That's what it is to be a grandma. That's what it is to be that age. And so they said it. And right now, there's a shift because there's so many people that aren't aging the way that they said. Because, I don't know, it probably has something to do with the awakening. And the awakening is listening kind of to your soul. And so there's lots of people who started being like, I don't feel old. I'm not going to act like I'm old, but I don't feel old. I'm not going to go look or dress a certain way. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to be who I want to be. And so there's a big shift happening in what the appearance of aging is, which it goes against their thing. Like there's lots of people who show like, oh, look, this is what a grandma looked like in the 80s. And look at what a grandma looks in the 2020s. And it's very different. And so, anyways, and then there's a lot more with skincare and stuff like that. But then you do have the ones that are going off on the plastic surgery and stuff. But there's a lot who are just naturally just taking care of themselves, and they are not going in the direction what they tried to set. So that storyline is kind of falling apart, which, you know how I've talked about this a lot too, is about the perms. And it had been on my mind too, because my hair not holding a curl and stuff. It's like, ooh, would I do a perm again? Ooh, good, I don't know about that. And because that's like harsh chemicals. And then it usually ends up being frizzy. So it doesn't ever come out like it wouldn't come out all perfect like how it is when you just do it with the curling iron. And then so, but it crossed my mind again, and I've talked about it before, like back in the 80s, where it became such a huge thing, and everybody was getting perms all of a sudden. They really marketed the perm, which to me, coming from the 70s, where everybody had their hair longer and was more, peace and love, baby, and more connected, because your hair is an extension of your, it's like a connection to the auric field or the energetic field. And so it is, it's like your antenna. And so, and back then there was all the, because they do these things through trends. And so back then it was like people were becoming too awake, I think, and becoming too connected and peace and love. And we don't want war. And, we want to sit and smoke weed and do acid and hang out together and watch the flowers grow. It was like a different tempo. And they're like, well, we can't have that. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And so we got to destroy their antennas. We got to disconnect them from each other. And so it's kind of, because I love disco music. I love it. But it definitely was a change in how guys started looking. They started cutting all their hair off and doing this slick back look. And so, stopped having shaggy hair and stuff. And then they started being very, I don't know, there was like a cockiness. Like, you gotta watch Saturday Night Live. Isn't that what it's called? Saturday Night Fever. You gotta watch Saturday Night Fever. And that kind of shows you like what it was like. And the guys got real like cocky. And so, and it changed into also a lot of going home. People started going home with people, like one night stands became a thing. And so they got a lot of people to get out to the dance floors. A lot of people started dressing a certain way and getting into dancing. And then there started being this big wave of having sex with strangers. And men started getting really cocky and stuff. And then they did the big introduction with the perm. And what's funny is I saw a video talking about this yesterday, about the perm and how they introduced that in the 80s. And it wasn't just the perm, I go to the shop. No, they introduced the home perm. And I had totally forgot about that. But they said everybody was doing home perms. Everybody was doing home perms and frying the fuck out of their hair. And when people keep trying to mimic these hairstyles from the 80s, it's like everybody's hair was permed in the 80s. Everybody's hair was fried. He was saying that, a lot of people got their hair permed every 3 or 4 months. And so people that or their hair would stand out. It would stick out because these 80s hairstyles these girls keep trying to get, and they've got, like, there was lots of volume. There was lots of big hair back then, but there was lots of perms. And but I think that was like their 1-2 shot on the, we're going to destroy their antenna. And at that time, that did become where it became, people changed their attitude. It became very different from the 70s. And there was a lot with drugs and one-night stands and partying. And even kids that were being born in that time, it was like, couldn't get their parents out of the bar. And so they really did, like through the destruction of our hair, they really did create a tempo that was a big change from the 70s. And then they introduced, the fraud. He came in with sickness and brought that in, and then said, well, it has to do with sex. Well, what a perfect time to introduce this when everybody's out having one-night stands. And so everything kind of shut down a lot. And then but there was still, there was still people who were out doing it, but a lot of people became really, really paranoid, and a lot of people already had it too. And who knows how. I mean, because this time around we found out that he, made sure to put it in, something that they, put it inside of us. And they probably did then too. It probably was some, when the fucking monkeys. That was stupid. So, anyways, but they do these things. They interfere with, like, our natural connection or something. And then they got it going in a good direction, with division and stuff. They really took it, bull by the horns on that thing, and really created a huge amount. And it's so funny too, because politics used to not be so, I mean, it was during some pretty significant times too. And you didn't have people didn't even talk about it. People didn't talk about it. And so they got it to be such a huge division. And so now it's like over the top. People are consumed by it. Now we got another nurse going online planning crimes. Like, well, why don't we just do this? It's like, what is wrong with you people? It's like, do you not realize, like, you're talking about a crime like, this can be used against you as evidence. And then plus you are a licensed person. That's a big deal. They made a big thing, like when we were in nursing school and stuff, that we weren't even allowed to, you couldn't tell your friend to take an aspirin, or they could go after you legally. You couldn't say shit unless a doctor told you, because now you were licensed and you were under a doctor. And you couldn't prescribe. It was above your pay scale. Like, you couldn't do this or that. So you couldn't tell, like, just normal things. And because it's more of like control. But these people who are going out and saying, do this and do that, it's like, dude, what in the hell? And then, and some of these are like ICU nurses and stuff. It's like, this is so mental. And then to get to that degree too, to be that hostile over, you know, who somebody got VOTE'd. And it's just like, you know, that shows more about the person who's hostile, shows more about them. And like you've got some kind of ego crazed issue. So there's more of that going on. There's more now on the last hit with that guy who was also a nurse. Now it's, I guess they're kind of making up a person. So they're changing his picture, they're changing his story, and it's all to feed into a narrative to keep us fighting. And then I saw, you know, a protest, and but the people are just standing there. It's like, people, why did people go home at this point? Just go home and let things play out. Like, this is where you got to learn to trust the universe. If these people are really, you know, then the universe will take care of it for us. We don't need to go out and do it. We don't need to go out and spend all our time and energy in the streets hollering at them and throwing things at them and stuff. It's like, all you're doing, and then to sit there and call them domestic, you know, TERRORSTS, is, it's like, you know, this is the fine line, I guess, because you're being called that, they're being called, it's like, you're on two different sides. And the thing is like, when you're on the side against them, and then you start being like, well, what are they doing? They're trying to get people who are doing something illegal, and you're trying to interfere with that. It's like, so weird. But anyway, so there's one of these going on that showed. Then there was an announcement that said that they were about to TEST, something that sounds like is what they used supposedly in the, you know, the little situation that happened over in the Venezuela. And when they went in and got Maduro, so when they went in and got him, there was a speculation that they had used these high frequency weapons and this high technology, which to me is kind of like the introduction to these technologies. It's kind of like a disclosure. So that, but then they said they were going to use them on these people, which is like this, I think it's like a high pitch, that a frequency that hits that, supposedly it can deafen you. In the one that supposedly happened when they were doing that big thing over in that place was, the guys all fell down. Nobody, you couldn't do anything. All of the people who were trying to get him were falling down. Well, also, that's kind of weird, because why doesn't it affect the people who are using it then? Like, that's weird. Because if you're putting out that, why wouldn't it come back and get you too? Why is it only going out that way? I don't know. That's weird. But I'm sure there's more to it, because I know that these are real, these weapon things. So the, but all the people were falling down, and it seems that, there was more talk of it on X, but it seems that there was vomiting and eye bleeding and stuff like that. And then the people couldn't get up. And so now they're going to use these on here, on these people. So then the people who are on one side are outraged. You know, how dare them? How dare them do these to these people? It's like, what is it? Where do you guys draw the line of taking responsibility? Like, I'm going out, like if I went out and decided, you know, I'm just going to go up to this motherfucking cop and I'm just going to kick him because I don't like cops. Then, you know, did I cause my own problem when I'm getting pulled down and, you know, beaten up and taken to jail? Did I do it to myself, or is it because these guys are assholes? Well, we all know. We all know these people are like, they're like mind controlled robotic kind of people. And even when that one guy was talking about all these military guys were joining, well, military is a big station of taking over, you know? And so that's, I don't know, it just seems wacky for the people to keep trying to fight this. It's like, I'm gonna go out and fight RoboCop. It's like, why? Why? And so to me, it is like where you know, whatever your motivation is, you got to kind of, at this point, you got to start trusting the universe. You got to start trusting like how things are going to play out. And that this is really a time of change. This is really a time of separation where things are going to go in their vibratory direction. They're going to go where they're supposed to go. And so these people who are, you know, these, whoever's on the side, whoever the true DTs are, yeah, that's funny because it's, what is the one? T, deranged. Okay. And then the other one is the domestic, TRRDTs. So anyways, whoever those ones are, they're going to hold themselves back. It's going to be your vibration. It's what's coming out of you is going to put you where you're meant to go. And so it's going to be the same with all these people. It's not up to us. It's not up to us to go in and decide. It's like, and then you don't really even know what's in these people's hearts. Like it's all by this assumption. Like you assume they're doing this because the news told you. You assume that this is their intention because the news told you. And the news is going hard. It's like, I don't know. I mean, for so many of us, like we thought that they were going to go and finally take the news down at some point. It just keeps going and going and going. And these people keep listening. And it's like, but it all has to do with, you know, getting people to see for themselves. And so anyways, but that's the thing, is the universe knows what the fuck it's doing and knows how to maneuver all this stuff. It doesn't, because it is a natural cause and effect. So it's you yourself, holds you yourself out of the vibration. It's not like it's coming from you. So the people who are not matching the vibration won't go forward. And you want to go out and battle them, you're going to be held back with them. So you're going to stay back and continue the battle, you know, go find yourself in some arena somewhere. So it's like, you know, you got to outthink them. You got to outsmart them. You got to think outside the box. You got to quit being mind controlled, quit being controlled by these people, because they are holding you back in your vibration and keeping you in a battlefield that they want to keep you in. Because they do want to have, I mean, it's entertainment to them. They're entertained by this. Like I said before, Tim's probably got wagers on it. He's probably sitting up and freaking watching from the high seats as he creates this tension, and then he sits up and watches how the people react to it. And so, and his place is bad. Like, man, when you got 100,000 people coming out that are listening, and then how are you guys listening to this guy? And so who knows what goes on in their news? Who knows what they're dealing with in the streets? I know that they're going so far as like supposedly locking down schools or closing them down, all sorts of stuff. And I'm sure that they are creating this giant tension. But I had said a long while ago, I said different places are going to have really intense things are going to happen, and it has to do with the energy of the land. It has to do with the energy of that space. And so there's going to be all sorts of different things going, and we don't really know, you know, the true history of that space and what has really gone on and what it is they're really trying to purge. It seems, though, you know, while battling. So maybe that was some place where some big battles happen. And it's what's weird too is when you get into reincarnation, that these people who are out there doing these battles we're probably doing those battles in a different way at a different time in the same space, and they're still like locked into these loops. They haven't broke free. They get triggered into something and then they just lock back into it. It's like you got to start thinking different. You got to start looking at things in a broader way and looking at things differently. Like it's a trap. And so, anyways, it's curious, what is going to happen, what's more to come. And it still seems like there's something going on with the algorithm, my algorithm. And so I don't know. I see lots of people talking about big changes coming in the astrology, and be prepared. Everything's going to be changing. And I saw somebody talking about that the money is going to shift first in for the way showers and stuff like that, for the people who have been doing all of the healing and stuff. There's going to be a big shift in the money for them first, and it's kind of like to set the stage for how it's going to change. And so when I was listening to that girl saying that, I was like, oh, but I think a lot of people need to also recognize that that is also for people who are going to be like building new communities. And so that money can be coming back into, um, you know, how it's going to be a part of building new communities or businesses and stuff like that. I don't think it's just going to all of a sudden be like, oh, look, all of these certain people are all rich now and they're just sitting there rich and happy. I think it's going to be more of a, look at how things can shift. Look at how we can start turning things around and stuff. It's kind of different to me of how I see it. Like I see the money going in it, not in it, the people who are, and not at that energy high or that frequency level, that they're still in the battle, then, maybe they won't all of a sudden, but the people who do, it's going to be to turn us in a different direction. So it's not going to be just like, oh, look, here's the new rich people, and they just get to sit here and, make fun of all of those stupid people. It's going to be the people who are more like motivated towards the where we're going, and not stuck back here fighting over where we are and trying to, because I mean, it's like, what are you fighting for? And it's never going to go back to the way it was. We'd all have to go back to sleep and just become robots again. It's not going to happen. No, this is a shift in the consciousness of us deciding what it is we want from life. And then the people who aren't at that position or pace of being able to decide for themselves, is because it's already programmed into them what they're here to learn or experience. And so it's all going to happen naturally. And but I do think that there is going to be some shifting on the money thing, and I do think it's not going to just all of a sudden they're going to just stick $1 million in everybody's account. And because it would, be taken as, people would just try and continue things the way that's the battle too. It's like they're trying to hold on to something. You're trying to hold on to something that's already gone. It's like, you got to let it go. And I said this for how many years? It's going to hurt the worst for the people who are holding on. You got to just let go of things. Just let them go. As things are happening, just let it go. Because if you're trying to hold on, it's going to be ripped out of your hands, because this old world is ending. This is the end of the way we used to live is ending. And there can be things that we enjoyed that we bring back, like we can bring movie theaters back. We can bring back people who do acting, but it's not going to be at the, they're not going to have the propaganda and the manipulation over us. It's going to be, more indie kind of thing, more free reign, more people. There's going to be just differences. Like, I definitely think there's going to be a big difference in the clothing market. I mean, there's going to be way more of people going and paying people to make clothes that fit them, not just buying things off the rack. People picking out like fabrics and stuff. I think we're going to go a lot more towards natural fabrics. I think we're going to go a lot more towards working less and AI doing a lot of the work. I think we're going to go into much more creative kind of not all these just generic homes that they just throw up. And this is just sickening too, because I just saw this video. This girl was showing this most fucking outrageous fucking house. It was so fucking cool. And the tile, the stained glass, and it was like from the 30s, kind of like the Spanish Art Deco kind of looking theme. And it was just out. Oh my God, this house was so cool. They're tearing it down. It's like, what? And the developer, like, who, like, what? Man, developer, they don't give a fuck, man. And then they want to throw up these like fucking garbage houses and then charge us $500,000 and think we need to have gratitude. It's absurd. So I think we'll go back more to houses that are more individual like that are more spectacular. Like we're going to have, things are going to go better. It's just going to go better. It's going to go more into like a fantasy, a dream-like world, you know, something that we only thought we could dream about, and we're going to put it into reality. It's going to become our reality. So anyways, I think it's you know, it's time to start trusting the universe knows what it's doing. It's not going to let people in who don't match, and that we're going to go into a better place. We don't need to hold on to the world that it used to be. Like there's way more coming back with live music already. I had said that fucking years ago. I said there's going to be way more coming back with live music. And because there for a while, it took us in a wave of DJs and techno and all that stuff. And that does not do the same thing. It was going and listening to live music and dancing and living. And so, yeah, it's going to go way more. Like there's a big wave of rock bands coming back now. You know, guys playing guitars and drums and all that stuff. There's a huge recurrence of it. So we're going to go into things that are going to be great. It's going to be fun. We're going to have cool clothes again. We're going to have cool music again. We're going to have cool houses again. We're going to go into some kind of cool cars again. So we're going to travel much lighter. We're going to get to places much quicker. So things are going to be a lot better. You know, but we got to go through this part of the people who are holding on and think that they need to fight these people. It's like, stop the fight, man. Just let go. Just work on yourself. Prepare for something new. And when you are feeling so triggered by all the things happening in the world, that is your opportunity to really go in and try and understand yourself. What is it that's bothering you? What is triggering you? Is it you feel like you got to control everything? Well, why do you feel that way? You feel sad. Yeah, it's sad. Things are ending. And there was a lot of things that, you know, we enjoyed doing, and it's ending. But you got to remember, it's going to rebirth into something else. And then when we have desires, like we all enjoyed, you know, certain things, and those things will come back. And they'll come back new and better. And not all of this control by these overseers. These, you know, somebody, one of my daughters sent me something and said that the world has been being run by 3,000-year-old whatever. I've been saying this for so long. I've been telling them that we were being ran by these old relic aliens and stuff, these vampires and stuff. They're like, oh my God. So when she sent me that, I said, I've been telling you this. I've been telling you. So, and then one of my other daughters, she sent me I was talking to her, and she said, you know what I really noticed? The triggers are good. Triggers are really good. It's like, yes, they're a gift. They're like what we need to look at them as like, it's an opportunity to purge out something, because yeah, you want the triggers, but you don't want to be reactive to them. You don't want to go out and get involved in all this fighting and battles and I'm smarter than you, I'm better than you, I see more than you and stuff. It's like, you gotta just like let go of a lot of stuff and just focus on you and what is it you want out of life? What is it you want? How do you want to live? Because as we design that and determine that, we create it. So it's coming in, it's somewhere up ahead, and who knows what more things we have to go through to get there. But there will be more, because we still have a lot of people who haven't seen. And then now they're sharing a new Schumann. So before it was the Russian one, now there's the Italian one, and the Italian one is going crazy. Which also, speaking of Italy, in Italy, a whole side of a mountain or something fell down, and like 1,000 people were killed. All their houses, everything fell, and he smashed down on the ground. I don't remember what city it is, if it's like Sicily or someplace, but someplace, big disaster happened on the side of a mountain, just slid down, and all these houses slid down with it, and everybody got killed. So, and there's going to be more and more of this stuff. And there's going to be a lot of things, and a lot of things are going to keep happening. And who knows if it is just our tension of trying to hold on to something, and it's just going to be pulled right out of our hands. So it's the thing is, like, you got to let go. I swear this thing was something I had seen a lot of times before, and it had so much more power to me, or so much more important messaging to me by 2020, was the let go, let God. Let go, let God. And that's the whole thing. Just go with the flow. Let it go. It's going to happen naturally. The universe knows what's going on. It knows how to handle things. And so that's that. So that's that. So we're ready to move on now. So anyways, but my intention is to go live later this afternoon. So if it's going to be, hopefully they call and I go down and get him this morning, and it's, like he has bad tooth and they pull it and all's good go. But we'll see. So I just have no idea what this day is going to bring. It's like none of us do. None of us really know what is this day going to bring. You just prepare for anything. Side of the mountain can fall. But I'm in a valley. But anyways, I mean, anything can happen, so you just got to be prepared for anything. And but mainly what the biggest focus that people need to do is be focused on themselves, and like releasing the triggers. The triggers are there for you, but you don't want to battle them. You don't want to fight. You got to just go in and really be more mindful. Think about, like, how does it affect you? How do you feel? And learn to let go of things. And so learning to let go and seeing, like, well, why, sometimes when you're having to think about, well, why does it bother me? Then you're having to see, like, these sides of yourself that are controlling, they're angry. And then you got to go deeper into it. Why am I angry? Why do I care about this? Well, because you have links from past lives and shit. So you got to go deeper and deeper and deeper to just release shit. And to be like, okay, get in with the flow then, let go of stuff, and really just trying to understand yourself more. You don't have to be like, well, I'm a bad person. That's what the whole thing about learning how to love yourself is, accepting yourself. And, you're okay. There was a book a long time ago. You're okay, I'm okay. You just got to remember, you're okay and I'm okay. We're all okay. Everything's okay. So, just learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody else, learn how to have the day you want to have, because it's important. If you're just going to focus on the anger and, like, you're going to you start trying to figure out crimes on the internet. Oh, which I saw a girl talking about too. And she was 17, and she had met on this internet, this cop lady, and the lady was going hard on her, and the lady was a serial killer. Like, she's quite the killer. It's like, oh my God. I saw her telling the story. So then I looked in the comments, and people were like, oh man, that's rough, because everybody looked up the lady. And so, yeah, I went and looked, and yeah, she's a real thing. She's a officer in Florida, and she said that, yeah, they use the Everglades to dump bodies and destroy evidence and stuff. It's like, oh my God. I think we all kind of, knew that. But, yeah, she started killing when she was like 15, this cop. And she said, because she was in a gang, and she's a white girl. The girl who she went after, the young girl, was a dark-skinned girl. But the cops, a white lady, and she said she was in a gang and she started killing when she was 15 and just kept on killing all the time. She's still killing. She's just a killer. And she threatened this girl all the time. You stay with me or I'm going to kill you. I'll kill your family too. It's like, geez. And this is our law enforcement? Okay. So anyways, you know, you just gotta just let go of this place. Let go of this place because we're going somewhere better. So anyways, but we'll see what happens today. And then my intention is to be back later on today and talk some more and we can all talk together. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.